Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'll be discussing the battery performance on our brand new ZTE Axon 7 Mini. The 7 Mini is the smaller version of the actual Axon 7, which is the flagship phone from ZTE. It was released earlier in the year. Okay, so this phone has a 5.2-inch Full HD 1080p panel as opposed to the 5.5-inch Quad HD screen on the bigger brother, the Axon 7. So that's why the battery size is also smaller. The battery size is only 2705 milliampere in size. The phone also obviously supports quick charging, which is good, not too bad. Okay, so let's have a look and see if we can first of all check the Android version and see which version of Android the phone is running. So about phone, right at the end here, and as you can see, this is the skin that ZTE have. It's my very first ZTE phone, so obviously it was something new for me as well. It's Mi Favor UI, that's what they call it. It's on the at the moment on the current version 4.0. Okay, so hardware information: Snapdragon 617 octa-core, obviously, along with 3 gigs of RAM. And if you come further down, you will see it's running Android version 6.0.1, which is obviously Marshmallow. Hopefully we'll get Nougat at some point this year or maybe early next year. Security patch level is up to 1st of September, so we're in the month of October, so it is not too bad. So this is what we have so far. So Marshmallow along with the 1st September security patch level, and we're running Mi Favor UI on the phone 4.0 version. Okay, so let's get into the gallery bit now. And as you guys know, those of you especially who follow me, I will always show you screenshots and the evidence of my use, how I use the phone, and that will probably give you an idea how the phone is like. Okay, so first of all, let's get here. This was the very first screenshot I took, testing the standby time of the phone. So at around 4:30 on 17th of October, battery was at 62%, and when I checked it in the morning 11 o'clock on 17th October, the battery was still at 62%. So in about 6 to 7 hours it had lost no battery life whatsoever, and standby was exactly where I left it before I put the phone on standby. So well done by ZTE. Standby times are really good on this phone running Marshmallow. Okay, again, this one I skipped because I will discuss this later in the video. Some of the apps keep on closing at the back end for some reason. I haven't really looked into it, but at some point I will let you guys know and why these apps are closing, and if there's any way we can stop the apps from closing. Okay, so the battery was down to 49%. I was mostly using Wi-Fi and also a bit of 4G as well, but mostly on Wi-Fi. As you can see on the top middle corner, the top bit here in the middle, the Bluetooth was also connected because I stream a lot of music. As you can see, SoundCloud at the very top, 4%. So camera 2%, phone, Genie, all the apps, social media, bits and bobs. And after using it for 6 hours and 58 minutes on the battery, and you can see the graph shows you here as well, I was using the camera a lot, as you can see, taking quite a few photos, and also GPS as well and camera, both were used initially for I'm sure for maybe half an hour to an hour's time. So that obviously takes a toll on the battery. If you're going to be using the camera more and the GPS more, surely the battery will go down quicker. Anyways, at around 49% with Wi-Fi, camera use, GPS, and bits and bobs, social media, I was able to squeeze out 1 hour and 30 minutes of screen on time. Now you can see this is the GSAM battery monitor app. Because on the Axon 7 Mini, unfortunately, it doesn't show you the screen on time. So if you go in settings, and if you go into the battery bit, which is here somewhere, it's called the power manager, should be up there somewhere. There we go, power manager. And from here you go to the battery usage. You can see here there's no screen on time, so you can't actually look at any of the screen on time. It shows you the graph, it shows you the detailed graph and everything else, X and Y graph as well. It will show you all the apps that you've used, but it wouldn't show you screen on time. So because of that, I had to install the GSAM battery monitor app so I could see how much screen on time I would be getting on the phone. So coming back to where we left again, down to 49% Wi-Fi, my normal app usage, I was able to squeeze out 1 hour and 30 minutes of screen on time, and this shows to you all the apps that I was using. Okay, well, we then went down to here. You can see then the next screenshot, down to 2%, lots of streaming music on Bluetooth. I love music, guys, and that's why I was using the SoundCloud app very heavily. So eventually, after 11 hours and 23 minutes on the phone using camera, Instagram, and all the regular bits and bobs, and after a long heavy day, I was able to squeeze out 3 hours and 7 minutes of screen on time. I wasn't really that impressed with the screen on time initially, despite me using more Wi-Fi and less 4G LTE. Still, I didn't get as much time. But as you can see here, when the GPS is enabled, that was when I was driving. So I was using 4G LTE for about half an hour to 45 minutes. So if you're going to be obviously using your sat nav along with your camera and using 4G LTE, the battery will obviously run down quicker. And that's why I was able to achieve only 3 hours and 7 minutes of screen on time. Okay, so further down, this goes to show you my usage of the apps, which is the further details. Once you go and tap on the app usage, it gives you details of all the apps that I've used in whilst you were using the phone. So SoundCloud down to 20%. You can see lots of streaming music online via Bluetooth. Obviously that will drain the battery out more as well. BBC News, Instagram, I love SwiftKey keyboard, and also YouTube, Google services, Twitter, and everything else that you guys know already. My heavy presence on social media is always there. Okay, eventually down to, like I said, 2% and 3 hours and 7 minutes of screen on time. So yeah, as you can see, so here again, battery down to 46%, Wi-Fi, and eventually I was able to squeeze out after a heavy day of use. As you can see, camera and GPS were not used as much, just slightly for a few minutes here and there, and I was able to squeeze out 2 hours and 48 minutes of screen on time with Wi-Fi mostly and less of 4G LTE. As you can see, there are less green spots on the mobile network signal as opposed to what it was in the previous screenshot. So I was able to squeeze out 2 hours and 48 minutes of screen on time. Now here it is dramatically improved as compared to what we had in the previous screenshot, and like I said, because of GPS, camera, and also 4G LTE, your screen on time can considerably come down. So here I was purely using Wi-Fi, not as much GPS, not as much camera, but purely Wi-Fi and social media bits and bobs, and I was able to achieve 2 hours and 48 minutes of screen on time. As you can see here, Phone Genie, reading articles of the SwiftKey keyboard, Google+, Instagram, Epic Geek, YouTube, all the regular normal stuff. And also you can see the GSAM battery monitor app was also consuming battery as well. So if you're going to be installing this app, obviously you will have some drainage on the battery. And eventually I was able to squeeze out, like I said, 2 hours and 48 minutes of screen on time, which was very good. Nice, not too bad. Battery down to 46%. Eventually I ended the day at 3%, Wi-Fi again mostly, less 4G LTE, mostly Wi-Fi. And eventually after a long day, after using the phone for 14 hours and 56 minutes total usage, I was able to squeeze out 4 hours and 40 minutes of screen on time. Now this is the kind of screen on time you expect from a 2705 mAh battery, because the screen is only a full HD 1080p 5.2 inch screen. It's not a big screen. So that's why the screen to battery ratio is excellent, and also their optimizations by ZTE and with the UI looks very nice. UI sometimes is not as smooth, but as far as the battery life is concerned, the optimizations are really good. So I was able to squeeze out 4 hours and 40 minutes of screen on time, as you can see here. And this is my app usage, like I said, YouTube, social media, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, everything being used at all times. So this was all I was able to get, guys, in the last few days, but I will come back with a detailed verdict, including charging times, more 4G LTE and Wi-Fi stats. It won't be straight away, but at least this will give you an idea. But in the next week or two, maybe I'll come out with a full-fledged battery review of the phone to give you even more screenshots. But at least this video will give you an idea what the phone is like. I think on Wi-Fi you should be able to get around 4.5 hours of screen on time. As long as you keep the brightness around 60 to 70%, you should be very good. And with 4G LTE, you should be able to expect maybe an hour less, 3.5 to 3 hours of screen on time. And the reason we got less screen on time before was because of, like I said, a lot of GPS and also camera taking photos and shooting videos as well. If you're going to be shooting videos and taking photos and GPS and all that, then obviously that will drain your battery out quicker. This was a quick overview of the battery, early impressions of the battery on the ZTE Axon 7 Mini. And if you got any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. And like always, guys, please subscribe as it helps, and give the video a thumbs up if you like it. And I shall see you in the next video.